June is that time of the year for me when I sit down and I analyze my entire 6 months on the basis of the things that I've learned, experienced, the mistakes that I've made, and the insights that I've gathered in the past 6 months. And I tend to compare it directly with the new year resolutions, frameworks, plans, and everything that we all do at the beginning of the year, which I also did. And it's a great exercise to give me a check of the things that I've been executing, and most importantly, the direction in which I should pivot myself in order to achieve the things that I want to achieve at the end of this year. So this is something that I've been implementing in the last 2 years. And after my practical exams got over in the month of May, I just had some time to go through my journal and reflect on the things that I've done in the past 6 months, which I've been sharing in the form of my learnings through this video. Most importantly, in this video, I'm not trying to teach anyone anything over here. I'm just trying to document my own learnings. Before we begin this video, I just want to share two quick resources that I've created in the past 2 years. The first is my weekly newsletter, in which I keep on documenting my personal and professional self-improvement journey in every week. So if you are a student in the age group of 18 to 25 who is interested in following my self-improvement journey, please do check out the newsletter, which is linked in the description below. Along with it, you can also check out my personal website, which is at joshisohan.com, which is joshisohan.com, in which I have documented my content portfolio, which is extremely beneficial for the student community on my website. So I've created a bunch of podcasts in the past 2 years, which are all there. So you might want to check out the website. You can also connect with me on my Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, which is listed in the description below, and also on my website. So with that out of the way, let's begin the video. So just to tell you all that this video is totally unscripted. I do have certain points in my mind which I want to address, but I haven't written them somewhere. I'll just talk to the camera candidly, talking about and documenting the lessons that I've learned. So to begin, the first point is that I didn't understand the work commitments that I was making in my life in the first 3 months, which caused an intense burnout in the month of March. So the conclusion that I have from this experience is that at least I didn't understand the depth of the commitments that I was making in my professional life. The thing that I mean by this is that there are internships that we do, there are freelancing projects that we do, there are personal projects that some of us are committed to. And throughout this process, right, we don't actually understand the commitments of the things in which we are answerable to people, like especially internships and freelancing. I'd love to elaborate this point by stating that there are many things under one thing that we usually commit to. Like for example, if we are committing to an internship, we usually tend to think that it's just one thing that is added on the to-do list that we are supposed to do in the entire day. But it's usually not like that, or at least what I faced. There are literally 30 to 40 different things under that one thing. Like your to-do list expands so much, and what I experience is that there are so many things on my plate right now, and I'm not able to do justice to any of them. By justice, I mean that I'm doing those things proactively, not for the sake of just doing them. And while I'm doing those things, I'm enjoying them. So this wasn't the case with me. And at the end of the day, when I used to see what I've done, I used to feel that I've done less. I can do more because there are just so many things to do more on my plate, which I wasn't able to do. So, and which eventually caused burnout, eventually caused me to think that I'm not doing so much, and etc. etc. So the classic way to avoid burnout is that to understand the depth of the commitments that we are trying to make in our professional lives. Like for example, if we are doing an internship, is it actually like, will I be able to schedule time, energy, effort for this particular internship in this particular timeline? When, let's say for example, I'm preparing for my MS applications. When I did this analysis right now, I realized that I can't schedule time for this internship, and if I do it, there will be literally 40-50 different things on my plate which I won't be able to handle at this moment of time. And this usually happens with those people, those who are getting opportunities at a very high rate, or those people who say yes to every opportunity. So I've not only seen this with myself, but a couple of my friends as well, starting new projects, taking up new things, and eventually coming to a conclusion that I'm not able to do justice to any of that, and I feel that I'm not able to prioritize. This not able to prioritize situation happens, in my opinion, when there are too many things on your plate for real, and they are beyond your capacity to manage. So when it all came crashing down in the month of March for me, like when I was not able to even do basic things like go attend the college, sit in the labs and stuff like that, I realized that I should step back from a couple of things. The people whom I was answerable to also realized this thing. We had a constructive conversation through which I opted out of the things that were causing me so much of, I won't say burden, but just anxiety because of too many things being there. And I just started focusing on the most obvious things like going to college, doing assignments and projects and stuff like that. And eventually I got back on track. I literally have dedicated an entire newsletter to this particular concept of how can you fix life as a student. So this was the entire background of it. Like if we just understand the depth of the commitments that we are making, I think we can just save a lot of the burnouts that we might face in the future, right? So the second thing is that the thing that has made my life very simple after that is that just operating with high integrity to all in with all the things that I'm associated to. Like for example, even if there is something that I don't like doing, let's say there's a subject in the college which I don't like studying, there is something in my calendar which I don't like doing, but I still want to do it. It's just pretty simple. Like it's there on my plate. It's my duty to do it 100% with 100% integrity, just so that I can sleep satisfactorily. Like, okay, this is something that I had committed to and I did this pretty well. So it's just like operating with high integrity is that principle or a mental model that one can integrate in their life. And when I have integrated it, I just feel that I am less drained out. I just feel that I have low internal resistance to the things that are there on my plate, and without thinking much, just with the mindset that whatever I do the best. So I just step into it and I do it. So even if early on I used to have this thing like, why do I do this thing? There's a lot of time waste that I find. There's a lot of energy wastage that I find over here. But eventually there is no way out of it. I have to do it. Like for example, college exams, even though I hate them, like not all of them literally, but I do hate a couple of subjects, there's no way out of it. It's there in my curriculum. I have to give the exam. I have to give the practical. So it's better that I opt for this principle of high integrity and just start operating that way instead of complaining. So like, this whole factor of reducing internal resistance, I think has worked really well for me. So if you combine the first two things, understanding the depth of your commitments and operating with high integrity, I think it has saved my ass, because like I just enjoy the things that I'm into right now without a lot of burden, and I don't feel burned out. Like I have time scheduled for my recreation, I have time scheduled for my social life, I have time scheduled for this and that, and I feel that it's pretty much balanced, or I am sane through these processes compared to the way I was in the month of first 3 months when I was just working hard, at the end of the day bashing myself like, I could have done more, because the never ending list of tasks was there in front of me and I just used to feel that way. So these were a couple of lessons from my professional life. I think a few things that I would love to add here is that having someone by your side who is walking with you in your professional life is something really important. Like I've had conversations with my friends who are from different colleges, and they feel that they are at such a place where they don't have people around them who are working with that much of dedication, that much of effort, with the work that they are doing, and they just feel that they are the only one who are putting so much of effort, which sort of makes them feel left out. Or they sort of tell me that, I wish there was a community around me who were as like-minded community of people, so that we could have struggled or hustled together to achieve this particular thing. I think I'm very fortunate to be at a place where I'm surrounded by people who are also my friends, and who are also those people who are very career-driven, career-oriented sort of people who want to achieve or want to get there, get at a point in their life, and they're putting efforts. So I think surrounding yourself with that people from a very early age, let's say when you are even during your JEE preparation or even during your college life, I think right from the first year is the way to keep yourself sane, especially in these phases when you don't understand how should you navigate your professional life. I think having those people by your side, getting those perspectives from them is absolutely helpful. Like I did have these conversations with my mentors also, with my friends also, and it sort of gave me a direction. So all of this, the decisions that I came and landed into eventually weren't my own decisions. I obviously had these perspectives from different people around me. I think having those people is again extremely insightful. One more important lesson that I've learned in my professional life is that not every growth in your life, be it actually not professional, it's both personal and professional, need be metric based. Like for example, you need not be saying that I developed my thinking skills or I developed my writing skills from level 80 to 100. You just know internally that you are developing in certain areas of your life without a predefined growth metric, which is actually an external metric which is set by someone else. Like for me at least, it was very difficult to be in that place where, because I operate in such a space where I know that I'm growing, where I know that my thinking ability, as in the ability to lay thoughts structurally, the ability to write well, the ability to lead people well, the ability to communicate, all of these things don't have a defined metric. Like I can't say that I went from 4 stars to 5 stars in this scenario, but I just know that I'm growing. Sometimes it's just very important to sit back and reflect and understand that, okay, you have grown through this phase, and you have grown through 3-4 months, 4 or 5 months without actually with a predefined metric. It's basically very helpful when you sit down with your journal and document these learnings in such a way that when you look back, you see that, oh boy, I've grown through the process. It's not necessarily metric defined, but you see your growth. I think that is one important thing that I have learned. One more important thing that I've learned from the people around me is that I have seen a lot of people, and especially my friends, like I mentioned, I would even take their names. So it's Dhruvan, Priyal and Dheeraj. I've seen these 3 guys executing things effortlessly. So when you operate with high integrity in your work life, whatever thing is there in front of you, I will do it 100% without thinking much about it. I just want to give my best. When you sort of cultivate that mindset, it took me a lot of time to cultivate that, but these folks have been doing it very effortlessly since a very long time. So the thing that I realized is that when you operate with high integrity, the effort, when you reduce your internal resistance, right, the ability to execute things effortlessly change, it just increases tremendously. And I implemented this during my end semester exams. So it's okay, these exams are there in front of me. I won't think much. I would just study properly, give my 100%, operate with high integrity. And so far, at least, only 1 paper is left. So I could realize that I could take, I could pass through this exam phase extremely effortlessly. So the ability to work effortlessly is something that is a skill that I believe needs to be cultivated, irrespective of whether you like that work or no. Just cultivating that habit of, let's say, okay, this thing is there in front of me, I'll just execute it and get done with it. So I think that's one skill that I am still learning, and I've seen it in a lot of people around me. So yeah, like I mentioned, it's amazing to have people growth-minded people around you. So that was one thing. Now let me think something more. This is something that I've mentioned in the previous video as well, probably. It's that having mentors around you will definitely change your trajectory. I've been doing podcasts for 2 years. I've shot with around 10 people, 10 guests from different backgrounds, different universities, and amazing folks. So the thing that I realized that because I was talking to such people, those who are 5-10 years ahead of me, and they're doing something where I want to be. So just interacting with these people, having, such productive conversations with the people, I'm fortunate enough that I can do this through a podcast only. But then just surrounding yourself with such people through online forums as well, I think helps a lot. I think this was a pretty vague point, but then you get the whole idea, right? So I think this sort of video only came out to be a bit vague, but then these were the key 2-3 points that I wanted to address. It was a pretty candid conversation about the mistakes that I made. One of which, I shared, not having too much on your plate is a good thing, and just being able to do justice to them, I think, is one another thing. So I'm trying to cultivate these principles into my life and just sort of growing ahead. I do have a lot of videos planned ahead, primarily which are about side projects and the lessons that I've learned. So this was again an experimental video which I did to just see how do I face the camera. I've been sitting here since the last 2 hours, taking making different takes, and then I'll sit and edit the video. So it's been quite an effort, and as you can see, it's pretty casual also. So let's just see how it works out. This is a complete experiment again, not trying to teach anyone anything here, just to document when I document myself and my journey. So when I look back, I just see that, okay, I was doing something in my college life and doing something productive. So I think that's pretty much it for the video. So thank you so much if you've watched the video till the end. You might want to check out my newsletter, my website, which is linked in the description. And thank you so much. Please subscribe to the channel. And there are a lot of things planned in my mind again about different experiences that I've had in the past 3 years, which I'll be condensing over here and in my blog as well. So thank you so much, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye. Peace.